now just slotting in. Look, we're still waiting for the two Mauritius and Charles Pic.
So that's half a minute now that they've been on the grid.
And the tyres getting ever colder, and the car getting ever warmer while it's stopped there. And finally, Charles Pic comes to a stop.
40 seconds later.
So, time for the lights. 4 and 5 of them. 66 laps to come, it's lights out, and away we go. It's a really good start by Alonso, also a very good start by Jean-Eric Vergne of the Toro Rosso. But here we are, the two Mercedes, Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton with Vettel trying to get at them into the first turn. Rosberg covers, and Lewis Hamilton locks up his brakes. Sebastian Vettel moves into second. Kimi Räikkönen holds fourth, Alonso in fifth, and Sergio Perez, a very good start, ahead of Massa with a decent start as well. Round the outside, there goes Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton wheel to wheel. Didn't work out for Mark Webber as well, who's lost a place or two at the start and is behind Paul di Resta as we ride on board now with Sebastian Vettel. It's two Germans out in front. Nico Rosberg leads Sebastian Vettel over that blind crest and on now towards the turn 10 and down the straight. Räikkönen behind Hamilton, Alonso just pulling away a little bit, and there's Felipe Massa going around the outside at turn 10 with Sergio Perez. He's forced wide, Perez covers it.
Perez had a great start. I watched him out of the window and he really did leap off the line, so he got away well for McLaren. But I imagine as Vettel and Alonso were thinking through today's start, this is exactly where they hoped and thought they would be at the end of the first lap.
And Jenson Button, who started 14th, down in 17th place at the moment, not where he would have wanted to be, running, as we mentioned earlier, a brand new set of medium compound tyres. It's Rosberg then from Vettel, from Alonso, Hamilton, Räikkönen, Perez, Massa, Sutil, Grosjean and di Resta of the top 10, and here goes Perez on Felipe Massa once again. Those two dueling quite wonderfully on the opening lap.
That was Massa then taking the position away from Perez with no DRS, of course, at this stage. That doesn't kick in until the end of the second lap.
Rear tyre 17, really important to look after the left rear.
It's tyre management right from the outset here. Protect your lead, but protect your tyres as well, because you're going to need them, son.
That means just squeeze the throttle on in the slow corners and don't let oversteer build in the high-speed corners. Stick them sideways across the road at 160 miles an hour. A great start from Alonso. Poor start from Massa, but he's made that up in the next couple of laps. 5 of them heading down at the front then, and Lewis gets slightly wrong-footed by his teammate in front of him, and Vettel going down the outside, and he loses that place. And look at Alonso, opportunistic or what? He's just passed Räikkönen and Hamilton in a half a corner.
Foot flat to the floor, fully committed through that corner.
That's it.
Exited turn 4. We can now see what the start looked like from Hamilton's cockpit.
Off he goes. Let's see when he hits the KERS button. There he goes now. He starts, he gets it into third gear, now up to fourth, the third before he used the KERS. So he's got a good slipstream from his teammate. They appear to have all the bases covered, and then all of a sudden there's a gap down the outside filled by a Red Bull.
Came from absolutely nowhere, and they very nearly banged wheels as well.
If anything, Lewis just opened the door back up again there for Vettel.
On board with Fernando Alonso now then, looking for a way, trying to switch right, no, has to go left, keeping out of Sebastian Vettel's way and then slipping in behind the Red Bull.
This is totally instinctive. You don't think he's done that, so I'm going to do this instead. You live on your wits. Look at this, talk about living on your wits. That is brilliant, brilliant.
And all stemmed from a really good exit out of turn 2 as well. He knew he had Kimi Räikkönen from the minute the car started turning right. Massa, you mentioned, Martin, with a poor start.
But why? He got away, he went around Mark Webber. Oh, yeah, that's why he lost out a little bit. He had to go around Webber initially, which always builds up a little bit of wheel spin as well as soon as you put some lateral into it. And wisely got out of that one on the inside down into turn 1, whilst Vettel and Alonso did their personal bests. So once again, I think Mercedes are using their tyres a little bit hard. His middle sector's okay, though.
Look, here goes Kimi Räikkönen on Lewis Hamilton. It's an opportunist move, and he's managed to make it stick. Good traction as well from the Lotus on the exit of the turn, and Kimi Räikkönen at last now moves himself up into 4th place. It could not have come a moment too soon for him.
Box, Mark, box this lap.
Whoa, 4 stopping then for Webber.
You would imagine so, with only 7 laps completed.
Okay, Mark, we need to push early in this stint. We need to push early in this stint.
Massa just went clean around the outside of him there.
And we are going to see a Ferrari pit stop early on as well. Now, not necessarily indicating a 4-stop strategy. It might just be an early gap appearing for Felipe Massa. And that's why we had some yellow flags waiting for Romain Grosjean as Vettel goes out. Very rapid stop indeed. Have Mercedes got their job done for Nico Rosberg to get out ahead? Yes, not by much, but certainly by enough. Räikkönen sliding back out, a fairly straightforward pit stop for Lotus as well. And Fernando Alonso coming down the straight now. This is going to be nip and tuck. Alonso ahead of Vettel, just behind Rosberg. So an earlier stop.
Jenson Button coming under pressure from Kimi Räikkönen on a fresh set of tyres. That won't take long, I think. And down into turn 10 is where it's going to happen. You can see Räikkönen pulling out. I don't think Jenson will bother fighting that one too hard.
No, that's not a battle. Jenson Button is really in at the moment. And Pastor Maldonado, to confirm, has got a drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane. And just looking here at this bunched field that we've still got here in Barcelona, I think due to what Nico Rosberg was doing in the early part of the race, eking out as much tyre life as he can, as here goes Fernando Alonso into turn 1. He's pulled out from behind the Mercedes, and Alonso has now got past Nico Rosberg, and suddenly Christmas has come early. Yeah, but I tell you what, that move, and there goes Sebastian Vettel trying to go round the outside at turn 5, no way through. Can he switch onto the inside now? No, he can't. But that move, oh no, Vettel's going for it. He's got better traction. Out and down through turn 6. Sebastian Vettel puts himself up ahead of Nico Rosberg. You were right, Martin. He is getting very lively indeed. And recently in sports, if Spain has suffered at the hands of Germany, that move by Fernando Alonso there on Rosberg might have been akin to a Champions League final moment. That's Felipe Massa getting himself past Nico Rosberg. And accelerating up through the gears into 7th gear at about 185 miles an hour. As Felipe Massa goes through, there's Räikkönen, there's Rosberg. Räikkönen has moved himself up past the German into 4th place. So it's Alonso, Vettel, Massa, and now Räikkönen, the top 4. And Mark Webber starting to gain on Nico Rosberg in the background as well.
Don't chase him down yet. Save it, save it. Be patient.
It's a long way to go in this race as we watch again for Kimi Räikkönen. A long way to go in this race, but Mercedes, who I have to say didn't have a huge amount of confidence going into it that they could hold on to the top spot, seemingly being undone by their tyre wear again. There's Daniel Ricciardo, and the man he's passing is Lewis Hamilton.
Let's make sure we look after these tyres. We can make this strategy work for us, and we'll definitely gain places.
But we're hearing just a bit too much of that, aren't we?
Perez is on the same strategy as us. He has new primes, 3 lap newer than yours. 3 lap newer primes than you.
Okay, Checo, this is really good. Webber and Rosberg in front are struggling on their tyres. We can gain places and manage our tyres like we did in Bahrain. Keep going, this is really good.
There is Mark Webber coming into view as down the slope he moves into turn 1, and Sergio Perez is right behind him. And look, there's Daniel Ricciardo right behind Paul di Resta as well. As through turn 1 they go, Webber just about holding off Sergio Perez, and di Resta, I think, a little more comfortably keeping Ricciardo at bay. But they made a big improvement as there goes Ricciardo on di Resta, up into 8th place.
Is Perez and Webber.
As we watch Esteban Gutierrez on the other Toro Rosso of Jean-Eric Vergne, making the move into turn 10. He pops himself up into 12th place. That's the front left on Fernando Alonso's car. And at the rear as well, just on the sidewall. Looks a bit better than that, doesn't it?
You get a bit of pickup on the inside, but it's the middle, the surface that you're looking at, and that's heavy graining there.
You're now saying it doesn't feel that the wheels are on properly. Meanwhile, what's happening with Felipe Massa? After his pit stop behind the Toro Rosso of Jean-Eric Vergne. Not for long, though.
It's an unusual passing place, isn't it? 5 down to 6. We saw a lot of that in GP2 and GP3 as well, as they find some traction, some bite. And it was a technical failure on Romain Grosjean's Lotus, and not contact, we're hearing.
The wear is much worse than they expected. Nice and hot day here today, and I think the rubber isn't down, so certainly from Ferrari, they're deciding to play safe on this. Now, of course, this opens the door to Red Bull, but they also found that their degradation on the tyres was worse than other people's, and they thought actually it was worse than Ferrari's, but they're not proving so far.
Yeah, he's pulled 5 seconds
look,
out of it.
That's the wheel coming off Van der Gaard's Caterham.
You could hear it revving as he was on the radio. You could hear it not, the pegs weren't connected up.
He's going to get back into the pits, but well, it looked great if it was a clown's car at the circus, but in the Formula 1 circus, there's no laughing matter for Guido van der Gaard.
We have seen teams fined or penalised for what they call an unsafe release, i.e. your wheels weren't tight.
Räikkönen closes right up on Sebastian Vettel into the first turn. Fernando Alonso, meanwhile, is lapping about 3 seconds faster. This is Felipe Massa on Nico Rosberg, and he puts himself up into 4th place.
Box, talk map 1 and box.
And he's got free track ahead of him as well. And they have to make their final stops. There's Mark Webber making his way past Esteban Gutierrez rather swiftly. Track temperature 37 degrees. Could do with some cloud cover maybe. Look, there's another one passing Lewis Hamilton. It's Paul di Resta on this occasion in the Force India. And Hamilton going to be running out of the points at the moment with half the race to go. So there's the gap between Räikkönen and Alonso as we watch now Sebastian Vettel moving past Nico Rosberg. Vettel stopped twice.
Räikkönen stopped on lap 26, Vettel 24. Hamilton, who's out of the picture, on 25.
And just been overtaken by Pastor Maldonado as well. Ahead.
Sebastian, left front is critical. Left front is what you need to look after.
Rosberg comes out in 11th place behind Sergio Perez. And there is Daniel Ricciardo and Jean-Eric Verne having a little Toro Rosso duel, and Ricciardo is winning that battle at the moment. Down to you, Ted.
Just popped into Mercedes. They say there's nothing overtly wrong with Lewis Hamilton's car. We know the car isn't set up brilliantly as well as Lewis would like, but we've known that about the whole race. He's just trying to make this 3-stop work. I was
not have been overtaken by Williams.
He's not impressed by that, Ted.
He's certainly not. And that's the problem with a 3-stop. You're nursing your tyres, and as Lewis says, you get overtaken by Williams. But I would imagine they'll switch to 4 and let Lewis try and attack. But yeah, that's the danger, isn't it? When you get into a 3-stop mentality. I'm surprised Mercedes are trying a 3-stop, but Lewis now on the radio asking what the situation is and being told we're still looking at points, but points only rather than podiums or anything else.
Crackle rubber in, they get rid of some fuel load. It'll help a little bit.
Oh, here's Lewis Hamilton's mood improving. Then he's just overtaken a Williams.
Maldonado will be on the phone, and I've just been overtaken by a Mercedes.
Okay, Lewis, so rear left reaching top of the window, so look after it.
I can't drive any slower.
Just a little bit of encouragement from Jock Clear to Lewis Hamilton, saying that, look, you might be right down towards the back end of the top 10 at the moment, but our big supercomputer in the back of the garage...
Oh, Ted, just break off there because Räikkönen's going for this, and he's got Sebastian Vettel, but he can't quite hold it, as Sebastian Vettel on the inside manages to hang on to that 3rd place. Well, it was a brave move by Räikkönen. He still hasn't backed out of this one. Tried to go round the outside, didn't quite work for him, but he is giving it absolutely everything in this battle at the moment, and needs to, because Alonso is pulling away and is lapping significantly quicker, and Räikkönen is being held up by the Red Bull here. Try as hard as he might, Martin, he couldn't make it stick.
Yeah, I mean, he's on the medium compound tyres, he's making them last very well, but it's costing him time now. He's now 20.4 seconds behind the leader. That's a full pit stop. It's looking good for Ferrari.
Sebastian, I'm afraid you need to do your race, so stay in line.
We want to see these two duel, don't we?
He's just had the call from Rocky, and, well, when have you ever seen Vettel let somebody through like that?
Well, and this, remember, the top 2 in the championship, separated by only 10 points. You know, Räikkönen's within touching distance, and you don't want to be letting him down, letting him by. Ted, down to you.
Yeah, just to finish that off with Lewis Hamilton, that he's been told his pace is good at the moment. They're targeting 5th place. 5th place is looking okay for Lewis at present.
As we see a replay of Daniel Ricciardo.
Watching on board. Now that looks like an unsafe release if I've ever seen one.
Well, yeah.
Oh, goodness sake.
Very, very sloppy.
Well, yeah, but why didn't he get up? The throttle works both ways.
Well, this is it.
That was too late. Oh my God, front is gone. Copy.
Would Hülkenberg have seen the Toro Rosso coming in? And Alonso's going to have to set off after him and try and keep within touching distance, if not get past him as soon as he possibly can.
That was a quick stop, didn't it,
Yeah.
again? What was that?
But will he be able to do that? Because Alonso's going to get decent traction out of this final corner. He's got DRS as well. I'm not sure there's much Kimi Räikkönen can do to stop Alonso here. And there is absolutely nothing that he can do whatsoever. He's got that move done very, very early indeed. And he's back into the lead once again, is Fernando Alonso.
That was candy from a baby, wasn't it?
Certainly hope it's putting a smile on his face for pretty much the first time this week. That was an odd-looking front left. I think they're running out of tyres on Jean-Eric Vergne's Toro Rosso there. Mark Webber getting past Nico Rosberg, and that's for 6th place, probably for 5th place actually, because De Rest has now come into the pit. And now Alonso has been freed from behind Kimi Räikkönen. He's about a second clear, and what have we got? Again, Paul De Rest on Friday, Jean-Eric Vergne on Sunday.
It's damaged the rear wing end fence quite badly, but not enough to make him stop racing.
I wonder if part of that damage was because of the contact with the Sauber as well on Vergne's car there. Point. But yeah, is it debris on the track? Is it the bonding of the tyres? It's another failure again, isn't it? And there goes Jenson Button and Esteban Gutierrez, who he's been slowly catching. Gutierrez running actually over a little bit of bodywork down the main straight and keeping ahead of Button. So there's the first time Gutierrez has been in a real scrap, isn't it, in his Formula 1 career. Let's see how he gets on here.
It looks as if maybe with track temperature at 38, as if the hard tyres just getting too hot around here. Remember that Red Bull really committed to that. They saved 3 sets of hard tyres, didn't they, intentionally. And it doesn't look like it's the right tyre. Has Button got this job done on Gutierrez? Yes.
Just about. And he needed the full length of the straight there, did Jenson Button, to put himself up into 7th place. Neither of these two, by the way, have made their 3rd stop yet. The other cars here, are you racing against the clock, against the times you know you have to do? Felipe Massa and Charles Pic getting lapped by the 2nd Ferrari.
Okay, Sebastian, you can use up your tyres. Use up your tyres.
So does that mean he can suddenly start to go as fast as he wants to now? Is that the message?
Yeah. So the only 2 drivers at the sharp end of the field making a 3-stopper work are Button and Räikkönen. Everybody else has needed 4.
If they're looking for 3 more, does that give us a clue that Alonso's going to be out there for 3 as well? Because they
stopped together, didn't they?
Stopped together. And that's how Räikkönen is catching Massa at the moment.
Just listen to this on board, see what it all sounds like. I think that's game, set and match, isn't it, for Alonso?
Okay, Lewis, Nico's been protecting left-hand side tyres through turn 3 with a big lift. A long time, he's losing a lot of time with it, but protecting the left-hand side.
It seals the deal, doesn't it?
Yeah. So this then is Button.
Waving at his former teammate, I wonder, as he goes past. How you doing, Lewis? Having a nice drive this afternoon? Well, not really, Jenson. It's not really been my day, to be honest. Why don't you go past me? Didn't kind of expect that, really.
If that was for the lead, it would be massive satisfaction, wouldn't it?
Sebastian, be careful with the left front. Be careful with the left front.
I can hang in there. A little more.
Understood. Can you do those lap times? Can you maintain those lap times?
No promises, but I can try.
Massa pits, so they didn't keep him out any longer than was necessary. The gap 9.3 seconds now between Alonso and Räikkönen. Massa is back out onto the track once again, and in comes Sebastian Vettel.
So who's around 10 seconds behind Massa then, so Vettel doesn't have a look at the podium.
Thank you very much. I'll have 5th place here.
P5 it is. Now, that's a good turn of speed for a Red Bull.
And he too picked up a penalty for speeding in the pit lane earlier. There's Adrian Sutil behind Lewis Hamilton. 13th for Hamilton, 14th for Sutil.
Bit of history between those two. Used to be very good friends.
Yeah, we've seen them quite close on the track as well. Less so off the track, it has to be said these days. We've got a trophy at the end of the season for fastest laps. I know you did a couple of years ago.
Don't know. I've never heard of it.
It's,
I think there should be fastest lap of the race, providing you're in the top 10, so that you don't have people just throwing new tyres because they're nowhere at the back of the field. And I still think there should be a point for pole, but he got voted down by the teams.
that was voted against by the teams this week. And there's some proposed changes to the way that Fridays are structured for this season. Voted against, but next year it might be a little tweak in terms of tyre supply for practice sessions.
The team bosses are not the right people to make those decisions. They are hardwired to win, and winning means going faster than the other people or slowing them down as well. That means they make bad decisions sometimes.
Or if they do have to vote, it's only a good decision if it benefits them. But
exactly.
That's the competition, that's the sport, you can understand that.
This is the fight. Di Resta and Rosberg, 6th and 7th. I should say Rosberg, Di Resta in that order. I kind of thought Paul would coast up and coast past.
So when I say DRS, Paul, use it.
So Nico Rosberg, 6th place, Paul Di Resta 7th. Di Resta has DRS, 2 Mercedes-powered cars. Does the DRS help Di Resta? Pulls out, very tight this one, a little bit late from behind Nico Rosberg. He couldn't quite blast his way past. This actually could be a decent scrap to the checkered flag, this.
Yeah, traffic ahead as well. This is for honour, Crofty, because it's first Mercedes engine car home, isn't it? And if he passes him, it'll be Force India, which is massively impressive, isn't it?
Jordan days in 2001, a few name changes ago, that one. Di Resta never started in the top 10. Is Paul Di Resta before he gets into turn 1. So where can he be cute enough here? Is he going to use the back markers to help him?
I don't know if he's overheating a little bit, but he wasn't really getting fully in the slipstream down there of the Mercedes ahead of him. He had a sort of quarter of a car sticking out.
So, final lap for Fernando Alonso. They've been standing in this grandstand for quite some time, getting ready to salute their man once again. 6 times in the past he's been on the podium. Here in Barcelona, he's going to make it a most magnificent 7 in the space of about 2.5 miles here. We wondered how it would play out. Räikkönen on a 3-stop strategy, Alonso on a 4-stop strategy. The 4-stop has won handsomely, with Ferrari saving tyres from qualifying to need them, to use them in the race.
It's not been a great race, but it spices the championship up a treat, doesn't it?
For the neutral, it's a very good outcome.
Yeah.
Certainly say that. Still Paul Di Resta, by the way, behind Nico Rosberg. Still the crowd salute Alonso every time he goes past. Ferrari gave themselves at the starts of the season, the 4 races. They've won, they've been on the podium, but they had mechanical problems, didn't they, in Bahrain. It's a second Spanish Grand Prix win for Fernando Alonso. Kimi Räikkönen comes home to take 2nd place. Paul Di Resta still battling away with Nico Rosberg down in 6th and 7th. And Felipe Massa, so often the support role, playing it perfectly today. A grid penalty, he started 9th, he came home to finish 3rd, he gets his first podium of the season. It's a Ferrari 1-3. It is a very happy birthday weekend for Stefano Domenicali. The championship nicely spiced by Fernando Alonso's hot win.
Grazie. Incredibile.
A smile and a laugh that pretty much says it all. And as he did in Valencia at the end of the European Grand Prix last season, he takes the Spanish flag to wave as he goes round. The checkered flag has just waved for Sebastian Vettel and for Mark Webber, 4th and 5th for Red Bull. Couldn't have gone much better for him, could it? A rare win for Spain over Germany in the sporting world.
McLaren were 10 seconds shy of getting lapped, and Lewis did get lapped down there in 12th.
As did, of course, last year's pole sitter and winner, Pastor Maldonado for Williams, which probably expected. Hamilton getting lapped. You wouldn't have expected that, Martin. We didn't mention that possibility when we were talking this morning, first thing.
Yeah. We didn't think they could match this lot, but wow. Rosberg 68 seconds behind from pole position.
Yeah, two current Ferrari drivers, one former Ferrari driver on the podium, and one very, very pleased Ferrari boss, team principal. And on the other end of the phone, yeah, Luca de Montezemolo, wherever he watched the race from this afternoon, probably cracking open a decent bottle of champagne right now.